loading,
English practice conversation about hobbies. English practice conversation about hobbies.
loading,
Do you have a hobby? Do you have a hobby?
loading,
I do. You? I do. You?
loading,
Of course. Of course.
loading,
What's yours? What's yours?
loading,
Painting. Painting.
loading,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
loading,
What about you? What about you?
loading,
I love gardening. I love gardening.
loading,
Very relaxing. Very relaxing.
loading,
It is. It is.
loading,
What do you paint? What do you paint?
loading,
Landscapes mostly. Landscapes mostly.
loading,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
loading,
Thanks. Thanks.
loading,
What do you grow? What do you grow?
loading,
Vegetables and flowers. Vegetables and flowers.
loading,
That's great. That's great.
loading,
What's your favorite? What's your favorite?
loading,
Roses. You? Roses. You?
loading,
Mountains. Mountains.
loading,
So peaceful. So peaceful.
loading,
Agreed. Agreed.
loading,
How often do you paint? How often do you paint?
loading,
Every weekend. You? Every weekend. You?
loading,
Daily if I can. Daily if I can.
loading,
That's dedication. That's dedication.
loading,
It's my happy place. It's my happy place.
loading,
Same with gardening. Same with gardening.
loading,
Do you sell your art? Do you sell your art?
loading,
Not yet. You? Not yet. You?
loading,
I just share produce. I just share produce.
loading,
That's so kind. That's so kind.
loading,
Thanks. Thanks.
loading,
Do you have other hobbies? Do you have other hobbies?
loading,
Reading. You? Reading. You?
loading,
Baking. Baking.
loading,
Yummy. Yummy.
loading,
What do you bake? What do you bake?
loading,
Cakes mostly. Cakes mostly.
loading,
Delicious. Delicious.
loading,
What do you read? What do you read?
loading,
Mysteries and thrillers. Mysteries and thrillers.
loading,
Exciting. Exciting.
loading,
What's your current project? What's your current project?
loading,
A sunset painting. A sunset painting.
loading,
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
loading,
What about you? What about you?
loading,
Growing tomatoes. Growing tomatoes.
loading,
Fresh and tasty. Fresh and tasty.
loading,
I hope so. I hope so.
loading,
Do hobbies help you relax? Do hobbies help you relax?
loading,
Absolutely. You? Absolutely. You?
loading,
Same here. Same here.
loading,
It's like therapy. It's like therapy.
loading,
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
loading,
Do you ever stop? Do you ever stop?
loading,
Not unless I have to. Not unless I have to.
loading,
Same here. Same here.
loading,
Hobbies are the best. Hobbies are the best.
loading,
Totally. Totally.